Hello everyone, how are you doing? I want to make a video about the rank state as it seems it's not getting enough attention on the World Selection community. Recently, there have been a lot of discussions in the rated community about the rank state, where 2v2 is good for ranked, long despairing queue times, and some troll pressure construct. Now I will start by saying that most of the rated community found a home inside the Discord, where most of our criticisms and complaints are accepted to some degree. In this community, we can discuss sensitive issues in rank without being afraid of being muted or banned, as our discussions usually extend to some form of toxicity due to our passion and care for the game. As a note, some of our members got muted or banned because of their adamant views in the official World Selection Discord, so most of the time we don't express our opinions in the World Selection Discord because of it. Instead, we discuss and flame each other by the power of words until we get to key arguments that was created from the efforts of keyboard warriors, the majority of whom also call themselves stone warriors, but that's a different point. Now, what are the problems for the current ranked? Well, the main problems that surfaced recently is that 2v2 has an extremely long queue time, and by long, I mean you don't play games, you essentially queue up and you wait long. So an example for that, our test subject, X Factor Live, verified this by his 4-hour queue time. I don't think he actually played that day. Anyhow, so another problem surface is that the 1v1 rated queue is that the top ladder players are less motivated to play the game as of late. This is not new, this is a similar problem we had in last season. This is because we have no reward. There is long queue times and an unfair rating system where you lose a lot of points and you always get nothing in return. To some extent they improved the rating system, but it's still unfair. So people are still frustrated. The situation is bad at the top because there's hardly any influx of high rated player, so there's not much diversity. A lot of the 1v1 games are also complete naval maps, with some rare cases where you spawn with no iron or very limited iron. So that's also something that frustrates people. Also, some dislike the idea of being able to play 1v1 ranked for only 15 days in a month. Some people just don't like the 2v2 and they want to play it every day. So I just want to reiterate that in the last season, the top players will consistently encounter players of significantly lower rating compared to them, and each game will give them only +10 rating, and if they lose, they could lose 100. Now it's a bit different, we don't get to that extremes, but there's still a bit differences in rating. Top players still play against unreasonably lower rating. Now, there have been complaints to improve the matchmaking system as a result, and the consequences are really long queue times. So those changes have been changed many times. It's still in progress, but we're getting there. So, however, although I said many problems, not everything is bad. Some things are improved. So at the beginning of this season, we got some mirror maps and the 2v2 rated, which makes them new, fresh, interesting, and all that. It made people try new stuff, made people from team games jump into the rank ship and try it for a few weeks. And the ladder was fair for a few weeks. Everything seems fine, the queue times were short, people were interested in playing. So for a few weeks everything seems to be working fine. But the problem was, after a few weeks, things did not improve. The queue times became longer, and the top ladder players still had to play against people of significantly lower rating. So the problems surfaced. Now, I want to talk about some rank paradox, and this is a point that in the rank community we don't really care, but in general for all the work selection it's an important point. Now, most of the war selection community really enjoys team games and it's very active in discussing Industrial Revolution units in general, but in ranked we do things very different. Most of the experienced players in the 1v1 agree that you gain more experience in ranked compared to team games because you learn how to use the units of each age more efficiently. Therefore, most 1v1 games almost never surpass early Middle Ages and rarely late Middle Ages. And if you get to Industrial Revolution, you are doing something wrong. It's not designed to get to IR in ranked, because you're supposed to stomp noobs in Stone Age, win against experienced players in Medieval. And if you get to late Middle Ages, you're probably planning to use siege or naval pressure. The main point is that you want to win as fast as possible, so we never get a chance to play Industrial Revolution. Now, I'm not saying that we don't want to play Industrial Revolution in ranked, it's that we don't care about playing Industrial Revolution in ranked. The point is, if you play in Industrial Revolution, you're taking a risk, a big risk. The cost and time to get to Industrial Revolution will cripple your economy for a significant amount of time. And in that amount of time, your opponent will not let you be idle. He will attack you with all he got, and you will have the economy to support an army. So yeah, we don't go for IR because that's a risk, unnecessary risk, just not needed. So we don't care about IR. So this is just an observation of what we have in the rated community. We don't play IR. Although sometimes we do want to play it, but that's just in private games. Now, the devs should care about the rated community if we play IR or not, because the majority of the devs' work is on new countries, and those new countries provide them a lot of their finance. So if we don't play in IR in ranked, then there is no motivation to buy those new countries. And as a consequence, team game players will feel that they can play IR with their favorite country. So that's something to think about. There is some paradox in rank because we don't play IR, and team game players who were like to play IR, that's their main content there, suddenly don't have the opportunity in ranked. That's a big difference in team game and ranked. Now, I'm not saying that they should fix it, I'm not saying that they should change it, I'm saying that this is a point of key difference between ranked and team games. So what are the solutions for the problems that I stated until now? So I just want to start. We have an amazing rating community that gather every day and discuss problems, strats, and play with each other. The community has top players that occasionally talk to WoW in private and suggest fixes to some units that they think is better for the ranked state. So when we think that Red Devs are doing something very wrong for the ranked, we protest a lot to representatives such as X Factor, Marmelada, and more. Our best results were during our group discussion with WoW, where we presented the issues of low activity, unfair maps, matchmaking system, and rating points issues. From the discussion, we got a solution of mirror maps to solve unfair maps, and promised that matchmaking system and rating points would become better and fair. However, one thing that was agreed to be implemented but was not introduced yet is the daily reward for ranked and medals for top players. This should incentive players to engage in ranked. We really want to see that because the activity in rank as of late is really going down. So the conclusion is that rank is not bad and is growing, and the devs are trying to do their best by engaging with us. Although in the previous season, sometimes they made some decisions and changes that were not wanted, and people were mad about it. But now it's fine because we discuss it with the devs occasionally, and we get a lot of feedback as a consequence. That's good. feedback is good. So I hope you found this video interesting and relevant. And if you think I'm wrong, then just tell me in the comment. I really want to know what you think about this. Do you think the rank is good? It's bad? Do you think you should play IR in rank? I don't, but and many don't in the rank community, but what do you think? Maybe it's someone else will think it's something else, you know? It's all depends on your opinion. It's a different opinion, it's a community. And then some of you may be team game players, so it's good to hear what you think. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day. I'm B32, and yeah, see ya.